We're not even up the first hill. Already tired.
After road tripping across Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where we hiked in the Porcupine Mountains, learned mining history on the Keweenaw Peninsula, saw some of the clearest and bluest water of our lives, chased waterfalls, and tried an iconic local food item, we've crossed the Mackinac Bridge to experience the Lower Peninsula of Michigan.
And for our final adventure in Michigan, we're heading to Sleeping Bear Dunes, which is a 71,000 acre park located on the shores of Lake Michigan for a day of hiking, gorgeous scenery, and local eats nearby.
First up, we're doing the Dune climb, which is a 3.6 mile hike over the sand dunes all the way to Lake Michigan. While the trail is just the dunes, there are these posts here with the blue tops to help guide you there.
So a few important things to know about this hike. Some parts of the park are dog friendly, but this hike is not, so Kona's sitting this one out. Also, we hear that it's hard to walk on sand. We hear that this hike gets really, really busy, and it also gets really hot when the sun's just beating down on the sand because there's no cover at all. So we're getting a very early start to beat the heat and the crowds.
So I started this hike wearing shoes and fully expecting them to be basically buckets of sand by the end of this. But I read that you could go barefoot, which would be comfortable and the sand's nice and cool. So that's what we did. But if you do that, make sure you do bring some kind of shoe with you because as the sun comes up, like Kathryn said, it's gonna get hot.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
Oh, hallelujah.
I see a lake, I can almost touch it.
It's
We're
right
almost
there. Ow, shells. Oh, this water is like so milky looking.
This is only the second time we've seen Lake Michigan since we've been in the Great Lakes. And it is like a milky, like glacial
It's like
blue.
the glacier water, yeah.
It is so gorgeous. I feel like we're at the Caribbean or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. To give you a bit of a backstory on where the name Sleeping Bear Dunes comes from, it comes from the Native Americans, and we read two different legends and they're pretty similar, so we'll give you the gist of them. There was two baby bears and a mama bear, and they were trying to swim across the lake from the other side.
And this is where the two versions start to vary a little bit, but one of the versions we read said that the mother makes it to the shore and she goes on top of a bluff waiting for her cubs to arrive, but unfortunately the cubs get really tired and drown on their way across the lake, but they later reemerge as the two Manitou Islands, and then the Sleeping Bear Dune is named after the mother who is forever looking over her cubs.
This is probably the steepest hill. We're about halfway back.
I feel like I'm parallel to the ground.
Yeah, you could just crawl up this if you wanted to. Oh, Lord.
Jeez, this is hard. My calves are on fire. We did it! Took us about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and that does include us hanging out at the beach for a little bit. It was so much fun, but it totally kicked our butts. Next up, we're driving the Pierce-Stocking Scenic Drive, which is a 7.4 mile drive that goes through dune and forest areas with amazing views of Lake Michigan and the surrounding park.
The road is named after Pierce Stocking, who was a lumberman in the area, and he loved this area so much that in the 1960s he literally built a road on top of the dunes so that he could share it with others. He maintained the road until his death in 1976, and he charged $2.75 for visitors to drive the road.
The area around the road was made into a park in 1970, and in 1977 they purchased the road and made it a part of the park. They renamed the road in his honor and then rebuilt it in 1984.
This dune system that stretches along the western shore of Michigan is actually the largest freshwater dune system in the world. So large you can see it from space.
So Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore is split up into a few different areas, and they're all really close together, but they're all separate from each other. And we just headed to the area near the town of Empire to do the Empire Bluff Trail, which is about 1.5 miles. It should be pretty easy, and it's very, very popular. The parking lot is packed, but it's supposed to have some of the best views in the park. I cannot get over how incredibly blue this water is, and it's kind of a hazy day, so I feel like it's not even in its full glory right now, but it is like a turquoise color. It is stunning.
Sweet, sweet AC. We've left Sleeping Bear Dunes for now because we were getting mighty hangry, so we headed into Traverse City to a place called Slabtown Burgers to get lunch. So we were wondering why this area of town was called Slabtown, and so a quick Google search later told us that this area back in the 1800s was home to wood carvers and sawmill workers. So these workers would build houses and buildings out of the salvaged slabs of wood from the sawmills.
So this spot has a ton of unique burgers, and we actually ended up getting the same thing because it just sounded so good to both of us. We got the Punji's pepper burger, pepper patty. They told me it rhymes with bungee because I really struggled on how to say it, but it has some onions on here. Normally comes with ketchup as well. There's pickles, and then it looks like a pepper jack cheese on top. And then there's a surprise inside, which we will show you when we get to it.
Are you ready for the surprise? Let me show you. I don't know if you can tell, and we'll try to get a better shot of it if we can't see it here, but the inside of the burger is stuffed with bacon, jalapeno, and cream cheese. 3 of my favorite things. But the burger patty, as you can see, it's got a nice little crisp, burnt little, not burnt, but just done just right. And on the inside is nice and juicy. All the cheese, the bun, everything is so dang good.
I instantly tasted the jalapenos that are stuffed in it as soon as I bit it. Oh, it's so creamy. Like, it's just cheesy and creamy, and it's still so hot. Oh.
I was pretty sad that when we went through Minnesota that we didn't go through Minneapolis because they're famous for a burger called a Juicy Lucy, which has a bunch of cheese stuffed inside the burger. But maybe this is kind of making up for it just a little bit.
We'll be back.
We'll be back to get the real deal.
For sure. This will hold us over until then.
Yeah. We also got regular fries and sweet potato fries.
We went from hanker to happy. You would think we would have learned by now not to eat ice cream on the vlog on a muggy day because it just melts everywhere and it's a disaster, but we're doing it anyways because we're really hot and we want ice cream. We drove a little bit out of the downtown area, Traverse City, to a spot called Moomer's Homemade Ice Cream, which came very highly recommended for many of y'all. And what makes this place so awesome is that it's a dairy farm and an ice cream shop, and they make the ice cream using the milk from the cows right behind me. Oh my gosh, I panicked. I didn't know what size to get. I didn't know what flavors to get. I hope you like it.
She surprised me on maybe both flavors. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know what to do.
On top we've got here, what'd you say, sea salt caramel?
Sea salt caramel, and then cherries moobali, which has like brownies,
yeah.
And it's black cherries from this area because they're a very large cherry producer over here.
So creamy, tastes really fresh, and it's just really refreshing on this hot day. And that is so dang good. The brownies with the fresh cherries, they just mix so well. It's like sweet and salty and tart and creamy with ice cream.
I've already been licking the sea salt caramel as it drips, and it's very good. So I'm just gonna try mine, which is just the black cherry, I believe, because I couldn't have the one with brownie in it, but it's just a black cherry ice cream with black cherries in it that are grown in the area. Ooh, the cherries seem super fresh in there. I was expecting them to be kind of harder from being in the cold ice cream, but they have like a good like kind of juice and a little bit of a crunch to them. Oh, this is just what we needed. We have been sweating like crazy today. This is insanely creamy. It's just so fresh, and I just love that we're eating the ice cream that's made from the milk from the cows. It is just, it doesn't get any fresher than this.
There's also nothing like enjoying your ice cream with the occasional whiff of hay or manure or anything. This adds to the experience.
We have made it back to Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore for one final adventure. We're doing a hike to Pyramid Point. You can do a longer loop trail, which is about 2.7 miles, but we're feeling pretty tired, so we're just gonna go out to the overlook area and back, which I think is around to 2 miles. Not totally sure. I've read a few different numbers.
So as you can see in the sky, the clouds have kind of rolled in, and on our way out here we were kind of nervous that the water wouldn't be as blue or not as, you know, vibrant. That was false, because it is still super gorgeous, super blue. The spot is also amazing because you can see the islands, the 2 Manitou Islands off in the distance here.
We're heading out of Michigan for now and heading down to Northwest Indiana to spend some time with family for a couple weeks. We had hoped to do a lot more in this area, but to be honest with you, we are exhausted, burnt out, and we are in desperate need of some time to catch up on a bunch of work, and probably most importantly, just simply rest.
What? What is rest?
I don't know what that word is, really.
We don't know what rest or break means. But don't you worry, you won't even know that we're gone, because our videos are about 2 to 3 weeks delayed anyway, so by the time you even see this video, we'll be back on the road and hopefully be recharged so we can power through the rest of the year and all of our fall adventures we have planned. And I got me a couple slabs of burgers.
Ooh, look at the grease dripping through there.
If the grease ain't dripping, I ain't eating. That's what I always say. This is the first time I've ever said it. If the grease ain't dripping, I ain't sipping. I'm trying to think of a way to make it rhyme. If it ain't greasy, I say no for sheezy. I don't know. I'm really hungry if you can't tell.